Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 17 of Shoe Booty Sports. We are coming at you live at 9:42 p.m. Central Time on 2/22/22, February 22nd, Tuesday night. Uh,
Tuesday.
yeah, a lot has happened in the last week. Big game for the Razorbacks tonight. We'll get into that. Oh yeah, whooping suey. So yeah, go Hogs. But anyway, Rhino Races. Wow, excuse me. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and a unique challenge called the Rhino Ultra. Visit rhinoraces.com for details on those races. Also, you can find Shoe Booty Sports. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Here, just click the subscribe button. Also, follow us on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. So, over the weekend, a few things. NBA All Star Weekend was this weekend. How much of it did you catch, Brad? If any of it?
Zero, other than
Mhm.
all the tweets about how terrible the dunk contest was.
It
And I
was
guess I
bad.
seen the final score. Of course, the Steph just throwing them up from the logo.
Yeah, I saw the highlights. I did not. I did not watch the All Star game itself, but I did see. Yeah, I did see some of the skills competition, but it was mostly the 3-point contest and the slam dunk contest. I wish I would have tuned in more to the 3-point contest because that was the only thing that was entertaining. I didn't realize Carl Anthony Towns could shoot like that. Big man for the T Wolves. Dude made it rain. So shout out to him. And then they got to the dunk contest and it was just a bore fest. All it consisted of was it can it consisted of players missing every dunk attempt, and like the crowd was just so not into it at all, and just because they kept missing everything, and then they finally do like the second dunk. And even the ones that the guy that won the dunk contest, he all of his dunks were like barely touching the rim. Like he'd put the ball in, but he'd like the rim wouldn't even like bend. He would just like touch it, and then like that's it. Like he was dunking at the local community center or something.
Didn't
Where you're
only
not
need
allowed
was
to
like
dunk.
didn't only need was like a 6 to win that thing.
Probably. Well, I mean, the scoring at those things are they're
Yeah,
so just. I mean, it's not like they got official judges doing it, even though it's former players. Like they give any decent dunk a 9 or a 10. It's like the year Zach Levine won it, like for the second year in a row. Like Zach Levine legit won it the first year, like he was amazing. But the second year, Aaron Gordon was better. He had the better dunks, but they kept giving each of them tens. So when Aaron Gordon was slightly off on one, they gave him a 9. Zach Levine won by default, and it's like Aaron Gordon's dunks were better. Like he should have won the thing. That was the last dunk contest I remember being good. But then again, it was the last one I really just paid attention to. Also, I was in Texarkana, winding down, getting ready to go to sleep. That's why I had that on. I was like, oh well, I'm pretty much done with everything I need to do. I'll sit and watch this. And I was just waiting, drinking a beer, waiting to be entertained, and yeah, it just didn't happen. It was all in the 3-point contest. When the judge, when well, no, when the commentators, when Kenny the Jet Smith and Dwayne Wade are sitting there saying, well, Kenny wasn't. He was against it, but they were saying, oh, all right, we need to make the 3-point contest last. Like switch them up. Like that's when you know it's bad is when they're proposing that the dunk contest come before the 3-point contest. Which back in the 80s and Vince Carter days, in 2000, would have never dreamed of that. But yeah, I saw that Team LeBron won. Steph went off, got MVP. I did see LeBron's shot that kind of iced it. I saw that highlight, the step back fadeaway.
oh yeah, fade away.
But he's gotten pretty good at that shot. His shot's gotten a lot better. Of course, it is his 19th year in the league, so that's
Oh
probably
yeah,
bound to happen. But so we didn't. So basically, we didn't watch much of All Star Weekend. It sounds like.
correct.
Um, but but we've seen them in the past. So, like, where would you rank the NBA All Star Game compared to like other All Star games from the big sports like the NFL, Major League Baseball, etc.? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go the NBA All Star Game one just because it's nothing but points, but it does get competitive at the end, like toward the end of the game. Like
Does-
they get pretty into it. And obviously, I'll go the MLB All Star Game second, just because even without, I'm not even considering the whole winner gets home field advantage in the World Series. You know that league. I don't even know if they're still doing that. Are they still doing that?
Yeah,
Okay, that's kind of stupid, but it's an
I think so.
exhibition game.
hmm
But yeah, whatever. I mean, they're trying to keep the game interesting, so I can understand it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. The Pro Bowl used to be, at least mildly entertaining to watch back when we were growing up, and now it's a complete crap show. They might as well just do away with it. I don't know what other sports have all star games. I know hockey does, whether
Yeah,
it's soccer, badminton, or whatever. I would put the Pro Bowl under all of that, at least today's Pro Bowl.
yeah. Of
So,
course, do any of the All Star games count for anything other than Major League Baseball?
no, and nor should they. I mean, it's an exhibition. It's just an exhibition of the best players, just for
Yeah,
fun. It's a way to make money, sell more jerseys, etc. I
true.
mean, it's just a fun thing to do. But
Not a
anyway,
fun thing
okay.
to watch sometimes.
Well, sometimes, yeah, depending on which one it is. The NBA All Star Game is fun to watch, and I mean, like 3-point contests and dunk contests are usually fun to watch. But
Don't watch it to get any defensive pointers.
yeah, not that week. And the commentating's usually pretty good. Usually got Kenny and Chuck and or Shaq, somebody down there just cutting up and having a good time. When Charles Barkley, anything Charles Barkley does though, it's going to be entertaining to watch. But we'll jump ship now to we'll go to the NFL now, even though there's no football to talk. There's no football going on. We're still going to talk football every now and then. It looks like there's been some rumbling around that Brady, could possibly come back and play for the 49ers. I think Ian, what I can't remember the reporter's name. Ian Rappaport, maybe. Yeah, if I'm getting that wrong, sorry, but yeah, he's predicting that Brady will be the 49ers starting quarterback in week 1. Thoughts on that?
I mean,
Do
that'd
you
be
like it? Do
awesome.
you think it happens?
I mean, I think you'd have to like it. I mean, have another season to watch Tom Brady play. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen. I mean, I'm sure Tom will listen.
Yeah.
If they picked up the phone and called, I'm sure he would listen. It's he doesn't have to throw the ball 50 times a game, not in Kyle Shanahan's offense. Kyle Shanahan wants to run the ball. It's a complicated offense, but it's Tom Brady. But Shanahan runs a tight ship, unlike Bruce Arians, and I'm sure it was cool for Brady to do that first year. Just to have something different than Belichick's tight ship. But then after a while, you're like, okay, I kind of like that tight ship. The organized, the very prepared. 'Cause, I mean, that's Tom Brady. Bruce Arians isn't like that. Bruce Arians is the guy. Bruce Arians may be a Hall of Fame coach. He may get in one day, but he's kind of got the motto of uh, win or lose, we booze. You know, so I think Brady probably appreciated Bill Belichick a little bit more after that first year with the Bucks, because Brady had said all along he wanted to play till he was 45, and then suddenly he wants to just stop a year short of that. I think the relationship with Arians has more to do with it than either one of them will admit, at least publicly. Arians or Brady, I mean, but
Yeah.
it, but Shanahan is he runs a tight ship there in San Francisco. He's an offensive guru. He's all about being prepared. Like I said, running the tight ship. He's not going to ask Tom to throw it 50 times a game. He doesn't want him to throw it 50 times a game. He wants to run the ball. He wants to find creative ways to get Debo Samuel the ball. It's yeah, it would be an interesting situation. But then again, you didn't draft Trey Lance to sit behind Brady once he finally gets his chance. You want to see if he can play. So I don't think the 49ers will make the move. I think they should at least consider it. Brady should definitely consider it. It's one of those things that he'll have some wine with Giselle and talk a little bit about, hey, what do you think about this? But it's interesting to think about. And the 49ers is where he wanted to go, initially when he left New England, but they didn't want to part with Jimmy G, is my understanding.
Yeah, that's what the famous comment was about.
What famous comment from who?
Talking about from Brady. You know what comment?
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you
There's
talking about?
where he said they're really gonna stick with that mother. That was his quote taken out of text, I guess. He was talking about San Fran. Nobody knew exactly who he was talking about, but that was it
Yeah,
might have been that was on the ESP or no.
I do
Might have been on
remember
the
hearing
ESPN
about
thing.
that. Now that you mentioned, I had forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those things I kind of.
Yeah, it was aimed at Garoppolo.
I would think, and I mean, that's kind of proven to be the case. I mean, Garoppolo has his limitations. I mean, he could be a quarterback somewhere, but he's not necessarily a game changer either. But yeah, so I would like to see it. I mean, it'd be a heck of a story. It'd be cool to see. But then again, you didn't draft Trey Lance for that, so we'll see what happens. Could you hear that? Could you hear the swallowing of the water or something?
No, I couldn't. So
I could hear it in my headphones. So anyway, so sticking with the NFL, did you catch Aaron Rodgers' Instagram post from yesterday? I read it
no,
today
I didn't read it.
I read it
seen,
today
yeah.
just to figure out what everybody was talking about. I didn't think it was cryptic as the headlines were all saying, but I mean, I can understand why people would maybe think that he's mulled over retirement or leaving, and then he has this long Instagram post about with his teammates and current, and well, I guess they were all current, and the woman he was engaged to, or I don't know if they're still dating
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
whatever.
Yeah. I don't know anything
I
about
don't
that.
really care, but it's but it's still it's just one of those. It was a very Aaron Rodgers Instagram post. He ended it with like, "Go read a book and just and tell people you love them or something." And so like, "You beautiful people." I don't know. It was one of those kind of goofy Aaron Rodgers things that he would say. But I mean, I didn't take anything from it. He goes on the Pat McAfee show saying he hasn't made a decision about his future. But it was, it's a little weird to have that out there, the timing. I can see why people would want to jump to conclusions, and he knows that, or should, that people are going to
Yeah,
do that.
he definitely knows that.
But yeah, I don't know what to make of it. He says that the talks with the Packers have been good, have been different from past conversations with them, and in a positive way. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, still a great quarterback. Uh, yeah. I don't know if do you want to see him in Green Bay? Do you want him to come back to Green Bay, or would you like to see him try it somewhere else? I feel personally kind of like I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I understand the sticking with the team that drafted you, but then again, it's kind of like I think it's kind of played out. Like his time in Green Bay, he's done it. It's almost like, let's go try something else, and let's go try it
No,
somewhere else. This has kind of run its course. I feel like Denver might be a good fit for him, or somewhere like that. him and Devontae can go there, play for the coach that they liked. That's now the head coach there, and it could be a good thing to go elsewhere. It's not necessarily a bad change isn't always necessarily a bad thing.
No, but yeah, I don't know. He, yeah, I don't know why he would do it and be all cryptic about it or anything. Like I said, I didn't read the post, but
Well, I do. He's
just
Aaron Rodgers, and he's just kind of weird like that. Like
yeah,
it was a very Aaron Rodgers post. Like when I heard about it, I was like, that's something Aaron Rodgers would do. And then I went and looked at it, I was like, yeah, man, that's a very Aaron Rodgers post.
yeah.
But
Like I don't know. Yeah, part of me wants to see him stay in Green Bay, but yeah, it would be fun to see him, go try somewhere new. And Denver's you know, the talk of the town, I guess. I mean, I don't think anyone outside of Wisconsin or Colorado really cares about the Aaron Rodgers situation. But
the
yeah, I don't
teams
know.
needing a
I say go
quarterback
for it.
do.
Yeah.
Teams needing a quarterback care about it. And
I mean,
like
who else is
lots
in
of
the
teams
mix?
need a
The
quarterback.
Raiders. I mean, like realistically,
Uh, yeah, possibly. Although I don't know why they would part with Derek Carr. Derek Carr wasn't the
yeah,
problem.
yeah. They were just talking last week about giving it an extension. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Derek Carr is a world beater, but I mean, I think
I
he's a
mean,
good he's a
Denver makes
solid NFL
sense.
quarterback.
So Denver
Yeah,
makes
Denver
sense.
makes
I think it'd be
sense.
fun, but
It would be interesting, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but eventually. But I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will continue to have some just be Aaron Rodgers, and we'll talk about it. And I don't think he'll drag it out, though. I think he'll. I say that we'll see what
nah,
happens, but
he gonna drag it out.
possibly. But see, he wants to be like I've always gotten the impression he wants to be just like the anti Favre, even though he's kind of turned into Favre a little bit. Um, but like it, not wishy washy about what he's going to do. Just come out and say what he's going to do. I'm sure that drove him nuts. As it did. I mean, I'm a Favre fan, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I understand you're conflicted about it, but come on, man, figure it out and go from there. Make a decision. Although I'm that way with a lot of things in life, but now that I think about it, but not, I don't know. But I'm also not, a Hall of Fame quarterback that's has a franchise waiting to figure out what they need to do. But I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will come up with a decision quicker than that. But I mean, his decision isn't quicker than that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, jumping back to the NBA, we'll talk about LeBron a little bit. He had a comment recently saying he wants to play his last season with his son Bronny. And no matter where that is or what he's getting paid, of course, the money's not going to be an issue for him at that point. But I don't even know how old Bronny is. Like, how old is he? Is he even a
I think he's
senior
a.
in high school?
I think he may be a senior this year,
Yeah, like I don't even know how
but
old the
don't.
kid
Yeah,
is.
not sure.
But I don't think. I mean, he's not like. I mean, I think he's like 49th or something on the ESPN 100, something like that. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice player, but obviously, top 50 in the country. But I don't know. That's necessarily saying like, hey, he's an automatic pro.
Hmm.
I've seen a couple of highlights of him just because he's LeBron's kid. But I mean, it could be a way to say, hey, hey, pay a little more attention to my kid. I don't know, but I'm sure he's being candid about it. But that would be kind of interesting. I mean, it's happened before. Griffey Jr. played with Griffey Sr.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And did Barry play with Bobby Bonds? That is everyone.
Yeah, that one I don't know. The only ones that were coming to mind were Griffey.
Yeah, I remember Ken Griffey telling a story about he just being like really touched, like when he was at the plate, and like he was at the plate just waiting on a pitch, and he hears his teammates like, "Come on, come on, Ken," or something. And then he hears, "Come on, Dad," which that has to be kind of wild, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Surreal.
hearing "Come on, Dad" as you're at the plate, and like that's one of your teammates is your son, who ends up being one of the best ever. Um,
Yeah.
I
Prettiest
don't,
swing ever.
yeah, definitely. I don't think Griffey would have ever been better than Bonds, but if Griffey could have stayed healthy, yeah, his numbers would have been, yeah, wow. But yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite player, just because he's Ken Griffey Jr. But anyway, yeah, it would be interesting to see. I mean, I mean, who knows what LeBron would do? He did say he hasn't shut the. He said yesterday or a couple of days ago, sometime he hasn't shut the door on a return to Cleveland for his last year. But I'm assuming that would be something like free agency. I don't know what his contract is with the Lakers,
I don't
but
either.
I mean, if I'm Cleveland, I'm not going to blow that young team up that you finally got an identity with. I mean, Cleveland can be good for the not like championship team, but I mean that team can be that's a good team. That's a playoff team that can win a playoff series for the next 6 years or so. The next 5 6 years. We'll see what happens. I mean they've got some pretty good they got some nice players. And I was shocked at first, like to see them as high in the standings, but the more I learned about them, like, okay, Cleveland's legit. They're legit in this spot. So
Yeah, I think about the only way LeBron goes back to Cleveland is going to be on like a 1 day contract so that he can retire a Cavalier.
and
If
I think
he's been pushing this long that he wants to retire, playing one season with his son, which it's been a lifelong dream of his. I mean, he's talked about it. I mean, for years about how he's always wanted to play in the league with his son. Uh, I just don't see him, like you said, I just don't see him blowing Cleveland up right now just to bring in James. Who? How many years does he have left? What, four at best? Three?
I
I
don't think
mean,
I don't know, maybe
I
three.
mean, at yeah,
This is his
three at best. I
19th
mean,
season.
it's crazy. But I mean, three's probably his target. I mean, if he's planning on Bronny Jr., being a one and done. I mean, because he'll have to one more season if he's a senior, one more season, then his first college season, then maybe be a one and done and be in the league. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um
And then again, and if that's going to happen, maybe Cleveland drafts Bronny Jr. and they bring in LeBron on the minimum contract.
yeah, I don't think he'll play for the minimum, but
No, it won't happen. It's just not going to happen
he says money's not an option, but he ain't gonna play for the minimum.
unless
But
he comes back in like a coach or something here in like 5 or 10 years.
yeah, no, he'll be in like
Can't
an
see that either. Yeah.
ownership role
Hmm.
or GM role, probably ownership. I mean, it's LeBron. He can buy a team right
Yeah,
now on his own.
for sure.
But yeah, it's I mean, if you're the Cavs, you don't blow up the team for a 37-year-old guy in his 19th year, even if it is LeBron James. I mean, I'd be like, yeah, if you want to come like as a free agent, I mean, sure, and we can talk as long as it's not a max deal or anything close to it. Yeah, then we can talk. But yeah, that's the only way it would work. From my perspective, he's I mean, you're not gonna sell your young talent off to for LeBron at this point. I mean, he's already burned you twice before. I mean, he got him a
What if they
championship.
threw
So
in Westbrook?
well, then they would strongly consider it. Oh gosh, man, that talk about a
Uh,
deal that went south. I mean, that everybody saw coming, but LeBron or anybody with any sense, I think.
yeah.
I mean, that's the LeBron effect. Wherever he goes, that team gets older. I mean, the Lakers, yeah, I mean, I've said it many times. The Lakers would be lit in 2010, but it's 2022. So that's why they're, I haven't even checked their standings, but I'm sure they're probably ninth or so in the West, just outside the playoff spot. But anyway, yeah, if I'm the Cavs, I don't know that I have LeBron, and like I said, unless he wants to come back. I mean, see, I don't think it would be like a day contract. I think those are goofy anyway.
I
I mean,
don't like them, but
because you're not part of the team at that point.
no.
But if it were like what Kevin Garnett did, spend his last season or two in Minnesota where it started, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It could be something like that, but yeah, the day contract things, those were always goofy to me. I had one moronic reporter that
I thought you were about to say you had a 1 day contract.
no, I just back when I was a reporter, I had a guy argue with me about Pujols he was ripping Pujols for leaving St. Louis for
Oh,
the Angels, and I was like, he's in like his 10th year. He wants to spend the last half of his career as a DH. I don't rip the guy for that. And he was like, but he can, the way he did it, and he can never come back and, um, you know, sign a day contract and retire with the Cardinals. I'm like, this is goofy, and who cares? I mean, he's still a Hall of Fame player as a Cardinal. He'll still be in the
yeah.
Cardinals Hall of Fame, or Hall of Honor, whatever they call it. And it was just, and he got all mad at me for saying all that, but it was funny to me. But I was like, I mean, that's goofy. The whole 1 day contract thing is dumb anyway,
Yeah.
because you're not a
Never
part of
liked
the
it.
team. You're not a part of the team at that point.
Yeah, you didn't even go in the locker room. Like,
You showed up and you signed a piece of paper that said, "All right, I'm here for a day," and that's it. Like, and
you didn't even dress out.
they hold up a jersey sometimes, right?
Bah,
Do they? I don't know. I haven't
I
seen
don't
one in
know.
a
I
while.
haven't seen one in a long time.
But anyway, sticking with the NBA, it was their, I think, what, 75th anniversary. That was the big thing that they talked about, during All Star Weekend,
Yeah, pick
and
the
they,
what top 75 players or
yeah, or something. But I saw the top 10 list, and I agree with some of it. I mean, it's hard to argue anybody that's in there. You could argue with
yeah.
that some should be in there, but this is the top 10 list that they have.
Who made
No,
this list? This NBA?
yes, the NBA did. Somebody within, I mean, the organization. I mean, like this was their, or the league. This was their list. Number 10, Kobe Bryant. Number 9, Oscar Robertson. Number 8, Tim Duncan. 7, Larry Bird. 6, Bill Russell. 5, Wilt Chamberlain. 4, Magic Johnson. 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 2, LeBron, and number 1, of course, His Airness Michael Jordan. I MJ's number 1 for me. If aliens came to Earth and said, uh, you can pick anyone, alive or dead, in their prime, and like we have the power to bring that person here from the past, and or present, whatever you want to do, it's your choice. But we want our best basketball player against your best basketball player for the planet of Earth and the lives of everybody currently living on it. Who am I sending to play that alien, their best player? I'm sending prime Michael Jordan. I'm saying, all right, prime Michael Jordan. I'm picking him over LeBron. Yeah, MJ is going to make sure that that I remain an Earthling, and that Earth continues to be inhabited by humans. So, so I agree with MJ number 1. LeBron is number 2 to me. The only person that could argue that could be better than Jordan is LeBron. LeBron does do certain things better than Jordan. I don't think he's a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, but He does do certain things better than Jordan. He's probably he's more physically gifted than Jordan. His vision is impeccable. His passing is as good as anybody that's ever played. When he wants to play defense, he's as good as Jordan, um, if not better in certain ways, because he could play the five, play the five if he has to, and the four regularly, defending it, well, offensively and defending it. So, if anybody could say, if you could make an argument that this person's better than Jordan, it's LeBron, but he's not better than Jordan. It's just not possible. But if anybody was, it would be LeBron. His 2016. See, that's the thing. LeBron has had the best finals performance I've ever seen and the worst performance I've ever seen. 2011, I can't forget that. He was atrocious in those finals. He kind of caved on the big stage, and because he didn't have an excuse anymore. It's like you've got Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and
The Heatles, yeah.
yeah, you have some great players now, because I mean, he did show out in that finals where they played the Spurs, where they didn't even belong there. They somehow got past the Pistons. It was LeBron versus the Pistons, and they got past it. And LeBron played well in that finals because there was no pressure. His first season with the Heatles, yeah, it was I think he had a decent first couple of games, but then as Dallas started to win, and make it interesting, LeBron just caved. Um, Instead of posting up or taking JJ Barea to the basket, he would dribble. He would dribble with his left hand twice and then just shoot a broke jumper, from outside the foul line. But that was the worst finals performance by a superstar I'd ever seen. And then he comes back and wins two with the Heat, and then in 16 has the greatest finals performance I've ever seen in my life, led in every statistical category. And yeah, I mean, he needed Kyrie, to hit that shot, as loony as he is, but
Hmm.
Kyrie Irving is owed just as much credit as LeBron for getting that trophy to Cleveland. Their first and only one they've had. So, I mean, yeah, LeBron is the clear cut number two to me. I guess you could throw Kareem in there. Magic is a top five player to me. Wilt the Stilt, the guy scored 100 points in a game. I think he averaged like 50 one season or something like that. I don't know. We weren't around then, but we all heard of Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah,
6, Bill Russell,
the
10
logo.
championships. So that's the thing. Didn't Wilt get like 2 championships or something? Bill Russell got 10. So, I mean, I know Wilt was, yeah, what he was, but I mean, you could probably interchange those two. Larry Bird, it's hard to say he's not a top 10 player. Tim Duncan is the best power forward I've ever seen in my life, so he deserves to be on that list somewhere.
Hmm.
I could say he's a top 5 player. I think you could fit him in there. Um, he's as good as any big as I've ever seen, with 4 or 5, whatever. Although I mean, Kareem was incredible. I mean, still the scoring champion. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple double in his day. Didn't see the guy play, but man, it's really hard to say that. I don't know. Was he better than Kobe Bryant? I don't know, man. It's Kobe, but
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't see the guy play, so I don't know. But I mean, it's hard to argue that anybody on this list doesn't belong in it.
Yeah, your
But
knee jerk reaction is like, holy shit, Kobe needs to be ranked higher, but once you think about it, man, it's
and
hard
then
to
you see the
hard to
list, it's
move
like,
it
well,
up,
where am I
dude.
going to put
It's
him?
like, yeah, I don't know, man.
If it were me personally, I'd put him over Oscar. Uh, yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe even. Oh gosh,
Like say, yeah, it's
I mean, he's up there with Larry Bird, if not better. Although Larry Bird was great in his own right, I don't know. That's a hard one. It's hard to say that Shaq isn't in there somehow. It's hard to say. I heard an argument for Steph Curry. I mean, Curry is to me and many, the best shooter that's ever
No,
lived.
he's changed the game for
Yeah,
sure.
he's got a great handle, can dribble, but he can't really do anything outside of that either. You take Steph's shot away, it's which is hard to do, admittedly,
Yeah.
but he's not the same player, so I wouldn't put him in there. I wouldn't put him in the top 10, but he's in, he's in the discussion at least. But anyway, it's hard to argue the list. I think they got the first one right. I think they got number 2 right, and really anything after that is kind of debate. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's
You can
basically
argue
the
till you're
real
blue in
question.
the face. Yeah.
The real question is who's the greatest? Who's better, LeBron or Jordan? I think it's still Jordan.
Yeah. There's
So,
no doubt, Jordan.
but all right. So sticking with basketball, but we'll jump to the NCAA men's hoops, which by the way, go Hogs for beating Florida tonight at Florida. It's their first win against Florida or it's their first win at Florida since 1995, since
It's been
Corliss
a
and
minute.
crew were there.
Been a minute.
Yeah, with all your Razorback gear, yeah, we had to squeeze that in. I don't know how it didn't remind me, to squeeze that in. We do have it on here. We're gonna get to more of that later, but anyway, big win for the Hogs tonight over Florida. Um, yeah, Hogs improved to 22 and 6 overall, 11 and 4 in the SEC. Currently at number 18 in the standings. We'll see how they do against Kentucky on Saturday. Uh, at Bud Walton though, so hosting number 6 Kentucky at Bud Walton Saturday at 1 p.m. I believe. But that'll be a good one. We'll get to more of that later. But sticking with college hoops, have you seen the Juwan Howard and Greg Gard, the Wisconsin coach, little altercation, if you want to call it that, after the
Yeah, I think everybody's seen that one. So
well, I mean, maybe some haven't, but
maybe, yeah, I've watched it a couple of times just to see, see if I could catch, what was said or, just what exactly was going on, and can't
yeah,
really
I
hear
mean,
anything except for, you don't. When you say I can't, or he's like, I'm gonna remember that bullshit or something, or he's like, I
yeah.
won't
So
forget that.
he had said that, or Juwan Howard said he wasn't happy with the timeout that was called. Um, when they already had a sizable lead, Wisconsin, but the Wisconsin coach responded with, at least in the presser, that hey, I got nothing but backups on the floor, and I called a timeout so we could reset the half court. The 8 seconds to cross half court, we were already at 4. Or I think on the inbound, they would have only had 4 seconds or something like that. And he called timeout to just reset that. It made sense. If you're Juwan Howard and you don't like it, say it in the press conference after.
Yeah,
Don't say it. Don't
it's a
handle it the way.
timeout.
Yeah, don't handle it the way that you handled it. Basically,
Yeah,
um,
it's a timeout. You can use them whenever you feel like it. I mean, it's wasn't against the rules. You don't like it, don't freaking lose. Like,
but yeah, guard shouldn't have put his hand on Juwan Howard either after the game.
yeah, I want to
Uh,
know what he came up and said to to get the face swipe.
well, it wasn't guard that got it; it was an assistant coach that got it. Um,
Yeah, I want to know what the
Wisconsin.
assistant came up and said. Yeah, the head coach got out of there, but
Yeah, but, I mean, the whole thing was stupid. It was two adults
stupid.
acting like junior college. I'm not going to disrespect junior college coaches, but it's like
No, man, I don't even know. Hell, do little league coaches even take swings?
no, it was like the what was the Netflix series with the JUCO football coach from Mississippi? You know what I'm talking about? Did you ever watch it? I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, this guy
No.
he just talked about all the national championships he'd won at that level, the JUCO level. And they won a lot of games, but
Oh, last chance to you.
yeah, last chance you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it was a yeah, it's yeah, I mean just the coaches there just getting into it with everybody every game. And that's kind of what it reminded me of, seeing that. Just that foolishness. It's like, okay, that's why you're at that level and haven't haven't gotten a better job because you do crap like that.
Yeah, you're
Like
yeah.
the guy at the who always talked about how real how he kept it real and all that at the Kansas one, in Podunk, Kansas, wherever that was. But it's just goofy, childish, and immature, and you got the goobers, the really armchair d bags sitting at home saying, "Well, if you put your hands on me, well, no, you probably wouldn't." Like everybody
No.
says they're going to do something, they'll do something, and then when something really happens, a lot of them won't do it the way that they said they would do it. But anyway, if that's how you're going to be anyway, I don't want you coaching my team. Act like an adult, act like a leader of men, because that led to the escalating of the players then fighting.
No.
I mean, they're gonna back up their coach. They're just yeah. But I mean, you got to be a grown up in that situation. Both of them do. Juwan Howard got suspended the rest of the season. Is the big headline. Gets suspended the remainder of the season, but they only got 5 games left, and they're not a tourney team. So, and $40,000 obviously for the face swipe. A $40,000 face swipe, basically. Maybe like a $30,000 one because they probably would have fined him 10 grand or something anyway. But the Wisconsin coach got fined $10,000 with no suspension. What do we think of those? Do we think that's fair? Or
Uh, man, I don't know. I kind of. I mean, if a coach isn't taking you to the tournament and he's starting fights on the court, fire him. But that's my feeling about it. I mean, yeah, it's a big name. He was part of the Fab Five, and he's not the one who called the non-existent timeout. I mean, yeah, he's good for recruiting, but yeah, you don't have somebody like that leading your team, especially if you're a major university like the University of Michigan. I mean, I don't know. I,
I think firing him would be too harsh. It's not like he's been there very long.
well, well, how
It's
long has he been their coach? What, 3 seasons?
I don't know that it's been that long. I don't follow Michigan. But I don't know. I think firing him would be too harsh, at least for that.
I
Um,
mean, you go into your work and throw a punch at somebody and see what happens.
um,
You're probably gonna get fired.
yeah, maybe. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's yeah, possibly. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna call. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm not gonna touch that one.
I
But
would get fired. Yeah, if I walk in and
yes,
start
if I
throwing hands.
deliberately walked in and started throwing hands, yeah, I would likely get fired. So I just have excellent bosses that would have my back because they know that I would not do it unless I just had to if I was defending myself.
So did he
But
get suspended without pay, or did he get suspended and a fine?
no, I mean, he just got suspended, and we're talking about Jawan Howard.
Yeah,
I mean, he got suspended the last 5 games of the season, which is the rest of the season,
yeah.
because they're not a tournament team, and got
Mm.
fined $40,000. I think that's a fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Greg Gard got fined $10,000 with no suspension. I think he
uh,
deserved a
yeah. I think that's fair.
couple of games. Now he didn't. Now he didn't put his hand on. I mean, he touched Jawan Howard, um, which isn't the same as grabbing a
I
hold
didn't.
of him and then throwing a
What did he do?
throwing a
Come up and
face
poke
swipe.
him or something? Like that's what I was trying to
He
figure
put
out.
like he put his hand on him, but it wasn't like it wasn't the way Jawan Howard was putting his hands on people.
Probably come up and say, "You don't talk to my coach that way."
Yeah, I don't know. It was the whole thing was stupid, but they probably could have suspended him for a game or something. But Wisconsin's having a little better season, I
I'd
believe. I
say,
don't
yeah,
know what's
I could
even their
say like
record.
2 games. I could see like 2 games. I could see it being half of what Jawan got.
Yeah,
So,
didn't put your. I mean, you escalated the situation. Like you didn't make it. I don't. I mean, I can understand him sticking up for himself, but then again,
of course, then again, yeah, he's an assistant. Jawan's a head coach. You want to make an example out of the head coach too.
yeah. I mean, Wisconsin's 21-5. I mean, they're a tourney team ranked 13th in the country. So I can, and they won
Yeah,
tonight at Michigan State. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
can
Firing.
understand I can understand you maybe don't want to suspend your coach
Yeah,
for they have a little more to play for.
yeah.
So
I could see if they fired, Jawan being extreme, but if they fired him, I could also be like, okay.
yeah, I think firing would be too harsh. I think the suspension's fair. But yeah, it's as long as your team's winning, you're going to be safe. But 14-11, isn't gonna cut it for long. So he'll need to turn it around for sure. But Wisconsin's doing just fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to the Hogs now. Woo Pig Suey, big win at Florida
Whoopee.
tonight, first since 1995. It was a great game. Uh, JD Note coming up clutch in the end. Devo Davis too.
Slapping the
Uh,
backboard.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't smart, but it was also
It was
funny.
not smart. Yeah, but it
No,
was funny.
yeah, but I laughed as it happened. Uh, but one cool thing I will point out was Tyree Appleby, the point guard for the Gators. He's a Jacksonville High School
Yes, you say
graduate.
that's the kid from Jacksonville. Yeah.
Well, like him and Devo were guarding each other, and Devo's a Jacksonville High graduate. So that was pretty cool to see, you know, the Florida guard and the Arkansas guard guarding each other in Gainesville, Florida, both of whom are from Jacksonville, Arkansas, and went to school there. I thought you didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't think about it. No,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I was pointing that out to my dad. I was like,
I bet you were.
I was. I mean, that's a cool thing. I mean, when are you going to see that ever, again?
Maybe in the SEC tournament.
Well, I mean, like in another situation,
Yeah, I know.
but
It's pretty
shut up.
cool circumstances. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyway, Arkansas, since going 1-5 and from dates
Terrible.
December 11th to January 8th. Now they were 1-5 during that stretch with losses to I think Hofstra and like a 20
Yeah,
point loss to Oklahoma. That's what started it. That was
that
an
was
embarrassing day.
man.
But ever since then, they have now won 12 of 13 games with three top 25 wins, and which was over Tennessee, Auburn, obviously, and LSU was ranked at the time.
Yep.
But yeah, but including that win over number one, I wrote Alabama, I meant Auburn. In overtime, at Bud Walton, that was super cool. But I mean, the big one tonight against Florida, that was huge. Note had 20 points, I believe. But man, what a stud that dude is.
I don't know.
And they were talking about, hoping he would stick around for another year, just with that incoming just monster class they got. And number two in the country last I checked. But of course, you know how those things fluctuate. But anyway, a big win for the Hogs tonight. Haven't won at Florida since 1995, which was the national championship crew. They won it in 94, but pretty much that whole crew came back the following year and got back to the game. Didn't win it, but, got back to the big game. But another big one Saturday at home against Kentucky, number 6 Kentucky, Saturday at 1 p.m. So, quick prediction. Who do we got?
Oh,
Or who do
gotta
you
go with the
got?
Hogs. Gotta go with the Hogs. Playing at home, right?
Yes, at Bud
In
Walton.
Budwell. Yeah, I wish I. Yeah, if only I could get a ticket to that thing, but that'd be impossible.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm cool with watching on TV. I'm going to go the Hogs
Yep.
too. My brain is 50-50 on it, but I'll say, I mean, it's a home game. It's at Bud Walton. The players are going to be hyped. I mean, that's just a different team at home. They just are. I mean, they've been a good team everywhere though right now. So, I mean, Eric Musselman it's fun to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch Razorback basketball again on a consistent basis,
Yeah, definitely.
not up and down like it was during the Anderson years or, years, before that. Um, that was the thing. Mike Anderson's team were so very hit or miss, and they would be just awful on the road in a lot of games. And it just, you never really believed they would get back to relevance. Um, I never saw the Razorbacks getting past the second round of the NCAA tournament with Mike Anderson as the coach, and they didn't. I believe so.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, so it's cool to see Razorback basketball be exciting to watch again. And big shout out to Eric Musselman, Coach Muss, the Muss Bus, and yeah, go Hogs! Beat Kentucky Saturday. But anyway, believe that'll do it with us. Did we cover everything? What did we miss? What did Graham miss this segment? Did he check all the boxes?
Uh, yeah, for the most part. I mean, I guess the other big news would be the Phil Mickelson losing one of his major sponsorships. Was it FMG? No, I can't think of it. I'm thinking of a contract.
Something
But
that
yeah,
pays
he
Phil a
lost
lot
his
of
number.
money. He's
Yeah,
lost
he
it.
lost his number one sponsor from all the hot water he's gotten himself in with his comments about the Saudi Golf League. So
Well, good job, Lefty.
yeah,
Still got more money than I do, but so I don't feel that sorry for you. But
no,
yeah, lesson learned for him. For him, I'm sure. But
yeah, maybe.
anyway, yeah, we'll see, right? But anyway, big game Saturday. We'll cover that in next week's episode 18 of Shoe Booty Sports. We'll cover that game and much more because it's the sports world. Something's always going to happen. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, again, visit rhinoraces.com for all you runners out there. If you know runners, yeah, have them visit rhinoraces.com for details of that race series. Again, 5 different races. You sign up on the website, run the races at your convenience. You can even purchase the races and give them as gifts also. So check out rhinoraces.com for details of that race series. And again, check us out Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast. Follow us on the YouTube channel and follow us at on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, uh, that's the conclusion of episode 17. Till
Thanks for
next
listening.
time. Thanks for listening. Till next time. We out. Woo Pig Suey.
Oh yeah.